Hey everybody, this is Alzorath and welcome to GamerFi. Today we're taking a look at Hegemony Rome, the Rise of Caeser, and I'm going to mispronounce Hegemony about a million times, but you'll have to forgive me for that one. This is an early access game available on Steam, and they even actually are nice enough to include early access notes as soon as the game starts up. I'm slowly scrolling them down through them right now, but simply put, the most important parts are that yes, there are bugs, and yes, they are working on them, and yes, they're improving on the depth of the game as time goes on. They just wanted to get it out and get opinions from players and interact with players to develop the best game possible. Now, as of the early access, only chapters 1 and 2 of the campaign are available. I haven't even beaten chapter 1 yet, and that's the tutorial campaign, and I've been playing it for a few hours. Some of this was due to some bugs that I ran into because I was purposely trying to break the game just to see if I could, and some of it was because, well, I just kind of get muddled down in the details and enjoy messing with stuff. So I'm still in chapter 1, and I actually have a save specifically for this review that we will look at after I show you guys the intro video, but I'm going to scroll down through the rest of these before I go off to do that, so you guys can pause it and see what is still in the works and see if it's something you want to jump onto in early access or wait until it's finished. A lot of art assets are still being worked on. There's some sound things that are being worked on as well, but this is stuff that they'll polish up. It's something that's normally polished up in beta anyway, so this is fairly standard state. And as far as long-term playability of the game, I'm really looking forward to the sandbox mode being implemented eventually. This is going to come with some AI improvements and stuff as well. So sandbox mode, which sounds to me like a skirmish mode from other games, is going to be a very welcome addition as well to extend it beyond just the 4 campaigns. I can see even possibly expansion of this playing on the additional Rome information. But this is a good game in of itself so far. And let's go ahead, and I'm going to be quiet real quick while I'm going to just click on new here so you guys can see how the cinematics play out in the art style and the voice acting on that. And then whenever we come back from that, I will be in a game that I've saved specifically for doing this review. So let's go ahead and click new, and I'll see you guys in a couple minutes.
At the end of my consulate, my efforts on behalf of Rome were rewarded with the lucrative Roman provinces of Gaul and Illyricum. Cato and his Optimates had been intent on blocking my appointment, and I will not deny that my alliance with Pompey, solidified through marriage to my dear Julia, played a role in securing my new position. When word reached the city that the Germans had crossed the Rhine at the bequest of the Sequani, and that combat had pushed the Helvetii tribe into the province herself, it seemed the fates had aligned in my favor. Many could still recall the last time the Germans crossed our borders, and the chance to gain glory in the eyes of the populace was an opportunity not to be missed. I packed my belongings and left for Gaul at once.
And we're back, and we're looking at Julius Caesar sitting here in a little bit of a valley. Now, the point of the game is basically a strategy game, as I said before, and currently our quest is to reach Geneva. We're not going to do that just yet because I want to explain the interface just a little bit. Up here you have the pause section, which we haven't really had explained yet, so I can't use it yet. You have your income, which breaks down your gold income and your expenses as well, which is kind of nice. You can look for more information by pressing, I forget which button it is, but it says right there. Also says it in the options if you're really curious. I do wish that if they did include the button click thing, it would be a little bit bigger, but alas, it's not. As far as the quest interface goes, it's really, really useful. You have these little arrows that allow you to basically jump straight to a target area by clicking them, and that is a very nice thing whenever you're going to have a sprawling map. As I zoom out here, you'll see just how big this map is. The little red outline area is the area of your current quests. Now I can move up and down. I forget what this is up there. I haven't made it that far in my playthrough, but you can zoom back down, and it adds more detail as you get closer to this battle map, and then it zooms in to a sort of strategy on the ground kind of map. You have additional like menu buttons up here that you can use to get to different things such as stats and your assets, kind of like list your assets, as it says. You have a diplomacy screen and an access to the game manual, as well as just the menu button to bring up the menu. Escape does the same thing. But I suppose we should get on with the quest and show you how the game handles. So you can zoom out right here. You could just click on the city and it'll automatically go next to it. Or I can zoom in and give him a location to specifically go to, which I'm going to do because I want to demonstrate a certain function that it doesn't introduce exceptionally early on. So we're going to have to get him up a little bit to the left. Now you may be wondering what this yellow border is. It is the supply radius of this city. Basically, if you're within this, you don't have to worry about food or the likes, and you'll get resupplied. As soon as you get to the edge of it, you'll get a ration of food, and then you'll be marching. Food is a very important thing in this game. If you run out of food, your army will generally just lose fights. Currently, we just got in and triggered the story event, and a bunch of Helvetii incursion guys are going to drop through. We get a group of soldiers to counter this. Click the little check mark here and it'll give us the next part of our mission, which is also telling us how to pause the game. Hit space and it'll pause the game. Now you'll notice that these buttons down here in the left started flashing red, particularly the one that says you just spotted an enemy. The I is for spotting people, the crossed swords are for combat, and the fish is for food emergencies, for example, if you run out of food. I don't think I'm going to run out of food in this one, but it really does show that they paid attention to some details that are quite useful for a strategic standpoint, and it forces the use of supply routes, which I probably will cover. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to move down here and start attacking him, and it tells us that if we unpause it, our guys will actually start moving. Now you can issue commands whether it's pause or unpause. For example, I could tell them to stop attacking, or I could tell them to go back to attack, and they would follow those orders. Let's go ahead and move Caesar up next to the bridge, and we'll go ahead and move him down here to block their retreat, because there is a capture mechanic in this game that allows you to get extra slaves. They're not workers, they are definitely slaves, through basically capturing the enemy combatants. So that's a nice little perk, and I will show that off. Now you see they're going to start retreating back to here. Let's engage them and turn them into our minions, blah blah blah. So we can't capture them just yet. We have to complete the little tutorial thing. Now you can destroy enemy structures and raise them and basically get them off the field. Now as you can see, I just right clicked and I didn't hold it. This is one flaw of the command system, I think. This is something that I wanted to bring up, and I kind of did that on purpose. The thing is, you have to hold it down and you'll have this wheel of functions. Now you can see it's highlighting stuff such as ranged attack, you have capture, and it's telling you on the right what it is. I'm not sure how I feel about this. It's not hypersensitive or anything like that. It's reasonably sensitive. See, I can move it around fairly accurately. You can see it sometimes going back as I move it just a little too little into the gap. I would much rather have a two-click system for this, where you right-click and then you click on the function that you want to do. It would make more sense to me and be a bit more intuitive, although it would slow down reactions in battle, I guess. So it's give or take here, but I think a two-click system would work a little bit better. Now we're going to select the demolish command, which is on the left there, easily represented by a nice destroyed little wall in there. So that's always a good thing. If we leave those guys sitting there too long, they'll start trying to escape. But that will not happen because, well, we're going to capture their butts and turn them into workers. Now, as we finish this, it'll destroy that, and it'll give us the opportunity to start capturing people. I'm going to go ahead and skip through the storyline, as it's going to just talk about their strategy and stuff like that. I'm not going to cut away from it. You already heard the voice acting in the cinematic. But as we zoom on down, you'll see how the unit system works. This is very similar to how the unit system works whenever you're assembling them, except you'll go to the recruit unit and say, let's say recruit, let's recruit some workers. It'll pop up a little menu in here, and you'll just send them out just like you do with this. So we're going to go ahead and click the cavalry thing and finish that little quest so they'll stop yelling at us. Another neat function of this, which you don't see in other games, is the ability to merge a general into the units. So I have Titus whatever. His name's Titus. I cannot pronounce that. Labienus. As a general, and if you just right click on the cavalry, it'll give you the option to either merge them or back out of the menu. We're going to go ahead and merge them. Just a straight up right click would have worked there, but I wanted to show the actual menu options. As you can see, the morale here starts improving as soon as the general joins them. It'll go up to about 150%. The food thing here, you are currently within the area of the city, so you don't need to worry about that. But as food goes down, you will quickly lose efficiency and you'll start surrendering and dying. And here's experience. You can like get upgrades and stuff like that with experience. And there's the unit count, which is essentially the unit health. If we kind of sit right there. Yeah, the mouse is a little bit fiddly. There we go. It basically tells you the number of troops in it. Very similar, again, to Rome Total War in that regard, where it's a unit number based rather than just, oh, this unit has 10 health and that unit has 15 health kind of thing. So we can go ahead and move these guys down here. And we have captured these workers. It takes time, as you saw the little thing going across the top, and these guys can be used to take over structures, or they can be used to work structures. We're going to send them to the mines and hopefully capture it. We can send some other guys over there as well to help capture it, to speed it up. Sending more units, it's not balanced yet, and you can tell the capturing process. You'll notice whenever there's 2 units capturing something, it is a lot faster than if there's just 1. I think it should probably be toned back a little bit, and there should probably be a hard cap on it if there isn't already. And we have a whole bunch of objectives here. There's information that they give us with the objectives that kind of indicate which ones are the storylines, such as that little symbol right there, and which ones are just optional. You can get reinforcements, and you can find some forts in these wooded areas here. So let's go ahead, get these guys up there capturing that. They're going to be trying to load in first, and they're going to realize, oh, it's not captured yet, so we better start doing that. And you see it accelerate a great deal as these guys start participating in it. Mines provide gold, farms provide food, and a feature that they tout as being a new addition is going to be the lumber yard, which I currently can't get one of, but you can see one right here that I currently have a ceasefire with, because that's just how it's set up. And these guys are in here and they're producing gold each turn. To get that gold, though, you have to establish trade routes, which whenever you first establish them are just a dirt road. You can upgrade them as well by going over to this menu right here. Oh, yeah. There is no C route for this one, but there is ways to upgrade it. I'm just being a little bit flaky. I read the game manual. But trade routes can be blocked. For example, let's say this was an enemy troop, and I like this feature. An enemy troop could just park their butt right here, and it would cut off the supply chain between these two. For example, whenever I get to these forts down here, if I'll go ahead and grab Julius here, if we can zoom him out, we can select him a little bit easier. Whenever there's trees in the way, it's a little bit awkward to find your guys. But we can go ahead and send him down to Aporitus. You can send him near it, or we can send him in it. But as we move down there, you'll see that we'll have some little, basically, camps, if you want to call them that, pop up that we can establish basically military positions with. And it's really kind of nice to establish the supply routes that way, and the fact that they can be blocked as a strategic move is a good thing, and I see that being a very important thing for the AI to know how to do, rather than just brute forcing your villages. So that's pretty much how the combat and the movement works. I haven't really tested out the diplomacy because it's not fully implemented yet, as you saw in the pre-release information. I like the function so far. I like the ability to slowly train up troops. Now these workers, if I'll do it again, you can watch the little bars next to them. It'll give you an indicator of how far along they are. A blue bar will show that this unit is being produced, and it'll turn into light. As you can see, there's a bar right there that is going up, and that is the bar that they are being produced. If you exit the unit from the area before that bar is done, you'll only get a partial unit. So it's kind of a time-based thing, but you can get units out fast if you really need to. Just rush them out basically at half strength if there's an enemy attacking or something like that. So I can see advantages to doing that. And I don't know what I'm going to do with all these workers. They do come out of your population, which is something that a lot of other games have done as well, where people that you recruit are coming from your resources. So I like that as well. I like the attention to detail. I'm really enjoying this game, and I look forward to seeing the finished game and some of the bugs worked out of it so that it's more coherent and more fluid and more balanced. And we just triggered another quest thing, sorry about that, which will pop us out and show us where the quest is being triggered at. This is the camp that it's wanting us to establish a trade route with to basically complete another segment of the mission. And you really do need it whenever you're doing the mission itself, because you'll have troops that you need to force march through there, and they'll starve before they get back. So yeah. Ways you can prevent starving is there's this function called load food. If I click on it, you'll see that their food goes up to 60 and it's drawn from the nearby town. As I move outside of the city, you'll notice that the food will start going down as I leave. You'll see them get resupplied before the leave, but let's go ahead and yeah, there goes the food down, and whenever food runs out, your morale starts dropping and your guys will start losing battles a lot easier. We'll just go ahead and attack there just because we can. But that's been another episode of GamerFi. As far as my opinions on this game, it's $25. It's a little bit hard to justify getting in an early release right now. If a discount comes along for the early release, that would be a definite plus. But I find it fun. I do not regret the purchase at all. I really do find it enjoyable, and I plan to finish the campaign myself. We have combat going on. Woohoo. You can set it up to auto pause whenever those things are triggered, by the way, which is another nice function that you see in some games but not others. So as far as my opinions on the game, yeah, there are some bugs that need to be worked out. There are some things that need to be kind of polished up a little bit. But the game so far is very promising, and with Longbow being an established indie studio, which is kind of weird to say, but it is. It's a studio that has been around, it's made its games, and it has a reputation, and it tries to maintain it. I think this is definitely something you should be watching. If you don't pick it up on pre-release, wait until it's fully released, and I will probably do another review of it then, just to give you guys an update on things that have changed or improved. And yeah, this has been Alzorath, and we are... Oh, I almost forgot. I actually forgot an important thing of a pre-release. The options menu! There are some things I wanted to mention about this. That's one thing that I almost went into my outro before saying. I forgot I hadn't included it in the beginning. There's a few things here that I really like, and a few things that I'm slightly confused by if they want to tell me what some of the things mean. Sound options. Tell me what sound detail does, but I am greatly appreciative of the fact that there are so many volume sliders. You have the GUI, which is the user interface volume. You have ambient volumes, effect volumes. The ability to control these independently is very important, especially if you are into recording stuff, because there are certain things that you'll want to show off, certain things you won't want to show off. In the graphics menu, I like the fact that you can choose full screen or not full screen. Currently, I am not full screen because that's how I record. I only go full screen whenever I'm just playing for fun. And another thing is they have a lot of resolution options. They included a great many of them, and I'm really appreciative of this. I've seen a lot of games forgetting to include 1280 by 720, which really hinders people in recording footage for it. So if you want your game recorded, include this resolution option, and I am thankful that they did. Just want to push that one out there. Detail is just this. If you click on advanced, it'll show you the different settings you have. Currently I have it all on medium. I didn't crank it all the way up. I like medium. It looks good enough and it plays well. My system probably could handle the high settings, but I don't really want to risk it because my system's been a little unstable lately. So that's the reason why it's all on medium. You have anti-aliasing and stuff like that. So as far as the options menu, it is very detailed. You have autosave options, you have difficulty settings. You can adjust this here, but it doesn't really have an impact yet. They will adjust it later. And you can only adjust the scenario setting in the actual save game. So you can't do this from the base menu. You just would be X and X on either side. Edge pan, you have manual, which you've seen me using, where you just kind of shuffle it to the edge of the screen and it moves just however much you move the mouse. Auto is more like what an RTS player was probably used to, where it scrolls as you just hold it there. I do kind of wish they had a camera style where you could have it centered on the selected unit and it would move along with it. I have yet to find that, but maybe it's a function I just didn't notice. Mouse pan is reference to the grab the ground and move situation. This is very reminiscent of black and white. I don't remember if I showed it off or not in that, but it's a good mouse movement for short distances and zipping around a battlefield, and you can rotate the camera to get a better view of the battlefield. So that's always a plus. I personally like sticking to my one isometric view so I have orientation, but a lot of people will take advantage of the rotation effects. Double click delay, it'll make the game less responsive if you make it have higher delays for that. And yeah, I think that's a good thing. The controls are not rebindable currently that I know of. I've tried clicking on them, I've tried doing other things. It has apply, but I haven't tried changing any of them. So this thing works, the control setup right now works pretty good. There's some slightly counterintuitive things as far as functions go, but they're really easy to get used to. The middle mouse for grabbing the ground, for example, is something that's a little bit awkward to get used to, but there really is not a better choice for it, especially whenever you're using the right mouse button to issue commands. So that's the options menu. Good options menu. Wish it was more clear how to change these. I think clicking apply might do that, but I don't want to risk messing up my game. So that's been another episode of GamerFi. I enjoy this game. I recommend checking it out. If you're curious about the Hegemony series, you can check out Hegemony Gold on the Longbow website. They have a demo of it. If you're interested in just buying Hegemony Rome, you can get it on Steam. There currently is not a demo that I know of for the game, but there may be one out in the future because, well, apparently they like their demos at Longbow, and I like my demos too. So if you enjoyed this, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Share the game with your friends. See if they'll like it. And yeah, keep gaming. Have fun. Peace out. This has been Alzorath. Bye.